What's up everybody, and welcome back to another video here on the Simply Car Things YouTube channel. Now today we are going to be discussing the BMW M2, the OG M2 specifically, in comparison to the M240i, and which one is the right car for you, which one is the better buy. Now before we dive into today's video, if you guys could go ahead and smash the thumbs up button on this video, as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel down below if you enjoy the content that you see. It helps me significantly to continue pumping out these awesome videos that are not only valuable but informative and entertaining for you guys. Thank you, let's get right into it. So where do we begin? The M240i and the original BMW M2. I guess we'll start by breaking down the differences both mechanically and some of the visual differences as well between the two cars, and then we'll talk about some of the pros and cons with each car. So starting with the M240i, this car was released in 2016, I believe, for the 2017 model year, and the biggest change was the powertrain, which is the B58, or the introduction of the B58 into the 2 Series, as opposed to the N55 that was fitted in the M235i. The M240i boasts a pretty impressive output of about 335 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque. In addition to that, it pretty much has all the other stuff that the M235 was equipped with. It comes with EDC suspension as standard. It comes with the M3 and M4 brake calipers, although the rotors are not drilled and they are a little bit smaller in design. The car does not include a LSD or a limited slip diff as standard. However, you could option one through the M Performance Parts catalog. And overall, the car is a very fun, a very fast, and practical car that you can drive on an everyday basis. In fact, I recently reviewed a 2018 M240i. It was not stock, it was incredibly quick, and I definitely think you guys should check that out if you are curious to see more M240i content, and more specifically my thoughts related to the M240i. I will actually link that right above. Now let's get into the BMW M2. So we're talking about the OG M2, not the M2 competition. So from 2016 model year to 2018, the M2 was sold by BMW, and it was powered by the N55 powertrain. It boasted an output of 365 horsepower and 343 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you're paying attention closely, you'll note that the M2 actually makes less torque than the M240i, and in a straight line, if the cars are going head to head, usually I think the M240i is actually going to be outpacing the original M2 by just a little bit. The M2 also came equipped with standard dampers as opposed to EDC suspension. It received a factory limited slip differential, quad exhaust systems, and a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, or you could option the 6-speed manual. You could also option the 6-speed with the M240i as well. Now that you guys have a very brief, and keep in mind, keyword being brief here, summary of the differences between the M240i and the M2, let's go ahead and discuss what I personally believe is the better car. And I think it all comes down to the type of situation you're in, your lifestyle, and what kind of driving you're going to be doing. In my personal opinion, and keep in mind, this is just my take on this topic, if you're just looking for a clean daily driver that's going to offer good driving comfort, lots of practicality, decent fuel economy, and definitely a good amount of fun to drive around on the street, some good performance, some decent handling, the M240i is a great car. The B58 power plant is truly amazing. It's phenomenal how powerful it is, how powerful it can be made with just a basic tune, some basic bolt-ons. The EDC suspension on the M240 as well is much more compliant and geared much more towards daily driving than the standard dampers on the BMW M2. The ride overall is just a lot smoother. It's definitely less jarring, it's less firm, and in addition to that, the ZF8 gearbox, the auto, is actually very, very smooth. It's seamless when you're just driving around town. It doesn't hiccup at all. It doesn't shift hard to where it'll like kick your back or anything. It offers a very high amount of luxury considering the performance that is behind the car. And keep in mind, I don't want to discredit or discount the performance of the M240i because it really is an impressive car. And if you guys check out my review, you know, I was hauling in that thing through some back roads, and I was definitely not even pushing it to its limit. Just overall having a lot of fun with that car, and that's the cool thing. It has a very cool like dual purpose nature to it. Now the M2 on the other hand is definitely the enthusiast choice. Now if you're the type of person that is a true enthusiast, that wants the most sports car and raw feel that you can get out of a driver's car, you plan on going to the track, you plan on doing tons of modifications, you love hitting back roads all the time, and you just want that added layer of connection and driver feedback, the M2 is definitely the way to go. Not only, in my opinion, does the M2 look better, it has a much wider and beefier stance to it. It has more aggressive bumpers, it has an aggressive quad exhaust coming out of the rear, and again, just those fenders and the way they protrude outward and the wider track just gives the M2 a very menacing and beefy look. The M2 has significant performance to back it up. Even though it is powered by the somewhat older and less powerful, stock for stock at least, N55 engine, it is beefed up. It has the S55 Vano system, it has S55 pistons and rods. It also has the S55 oil sump in it, so if you're taking it on track, you don't really have to worry about oil starvation because the sump is designed specifically for track use. Again, you have those standard dampers, you have beefier strut tower bracing, you have a better bushing system, you have aluminum suspension components, the rear subframe is directly bolted up to the mainframe. So again, there's just a lot more feedback coming through the car. There's a lot more driver feel coming through the steering wheel, and just the suspension, the steering, the way everything sort of communicates to you is definitely going to be more than in the M240i. And the M240, again, it's a good performance car, but a lot of that, but it's missing that extra, you know, that 10 tenths that you otherwise want from a car like the M2. If you're gonna be, you know, driving frequently through back roads, if you want a very aggressive looking car, if you wanna go and take your car to the track, then I would definitely go with the M2. It's for sure the better buy in my opinion, and it's also going to have better resale as well in the long run and in the long term. I think the M2 has a very, very positive reception in the enthusiast and car community, and as a result of that, it's also going to help to maintain its resale value. I would say though, if you're looking strictly for power, like just straight line power, the M240i is going to be the better choice because the B58 engine has a ton of capability out the box. It is very easy to swap out, you know, your basic hardware like the downpipes. It's very easy to bolt up a larger pure turbo or whatever the case is, big boost or whatever. There's tons of tuning applications out there and custom software that can really push the envelope of the B58 platform. And if you're looking for something to go well north above 500 horsepower, then the M240i is the better buy because of that B58 power plant. And then you also factor in the ability to, you know, option an M240i with xDrive, which is another thing I forgot to mention as well. If you live in a cold weather state, the ability to have all-wheel drive is a huge bonus, and for some that may be a potential deal breaker. So I definitely can understand that if you live in the Midwest or a state or a country that gets a lot of snow and rain. The all-wheel drive is another huge benefit of the M240. But again, if you're talking about straight line speed, having a very, very powerful M240i with the ZF8, a built B58 engine, and an xDrive system is an insanely fast car. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. Again, the M2 is more so for the enthusiast. It focuses on the all-around driving performance aspect. So handling, steering, you know, the suspension feel, the power delivery, and to top it all off, it just has amazing looks, right? So that car, if you want to track it, if you want to take it to like back roads and just really enjoy the crap out of it, the M2 is a great car. But in terms of the better daily driver and in terms of the better car for straight line speed, the M240 definitely takes the cake. And a lot of that comes down to its powertrain, which is the B58. So that is a very quick summary, and again, I hope that video was helpful. I'm sorry if I was a little bit all over the place in this video, but there is a lot of information to talk about and break down and a lot of variables to consider, quite frankly. So I hope I was able to provide some value for you guys, and again, if you could go ahead and smash the thumbs up button as well as subscribe to the channel down below, I would appreciate that a ton, guys. With all that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.